Well, it's another absolutely gorgeous day here in Oklahoma City. So today we're just going to do a quick garden living. Can you hear the little baby in the background? There must be a stroller going by or a toddler or something. Everybody is out in the neighborhood, which reminds me that I want to thank all of you who shared your stories about your own communities, your own neighborhood, what you like about it. And it definitely, I think, proves the point that that community takes many forms. And I loved hearing your stories, so thank you very much. And I appreciate your sharing my neighborhood with me. So today we're going to do a couple of unusual things. Number one, we're going to have a segment that I'm going to call Taylor's Topiary Tips. My daughter-in-law, well, let's just say she tried her first topiary. She prior to this had not done any, and she did a couple of topiaries, and my son filmed her doing it. It's really fun. She is a skilled topiarist. So that was fun. So I'm going to show that right here, and you guys might want to follow her on her Instagram account called Mountain Millennials. She and all of her friends of a similar age, they're all getting into gardening, into cooking and everything, and it's just so fun to watch their excitement at learning some of the things that this little group of us here have been doing for many years and putting their own twist on it. I put together just a really quick and easy, but hopefully will be appreciated basket of goodies for John Turman. He's having a routine medical procedure this week. It should be fine, but he will be down for a little while,
short bit,
a few days or something. So we put together a little basket of goodies for him. I want to show you what's in that. You guys are so kind, and you send me so many different gifts, and I really don't want to encourage it because I don't want you to feel obligated in any way. But I got one in the mail that struck my heart for just a very specific reason. So I'm going to share it with you. And well, what do you say, Stuart?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Okay, so this is going to be an experiment. I have never created like my own topiary. My mother-in-law, Linda Vater, she is the boxwood and topiary queen. So anything and everything I know in the garden is from her. So we're going to do an experiment today, and we are going to try to make topiaries out of these boxwoods. I went to Home Depot and I got a Green Mountain boxwood and a green velvet boxwood. And I did my research. She told me to look for kind of a longer stem or base here, so it gives it some height, and so we can just start clipping around that. And then same here. So I went and looked, and this one has a pretty good long base to get started with. And I'm gonna make them into one ball, but I'm going to see where I can also start a new stem to create another level eventually, but we'll see.
Well, my friend John is having a medical procedure this week, and so I thought it might be nice to put together a basket of comforts for him. So let's deconstruct what I put together in this thrift store find. I always, when I go to the thrift store, one of the things I look for, just like you, is baskets that I can use for just this purpose. So all I have to do is go to my basement and excavate one and then begin to fill it. Now, I want to give a shout out to a couple of different places, well, actually 3 different places. prices. There is a wonderful farmer's market. Well, it's not really a farmer's market. It's a little marketplace that pops up once a month at 30th Street Market on 30th and Walker here in Oklahoma City. And there's just different vendors and purveyors of things. And one of them is my friend Jen, that you guys know from Bricks, but she also has her own little company called Boykin Farms. And I think I may have told you that Jen can do just about everything.
Anything and everything.
I mean, anything and everything. If I didn't love her so much, I would hate her, because she just can do everything. She can bake, she can cook, she can, she raises chickens. It goes on and on. And more importantly, she's just an exceptional human being. But I went to the marketplace in particular because I wanted to get some things from Boykin Farm to fill my basket. I also went to Trader Joe's for some different items. And then I want to share with you another person who is there selling some things, and I really liked her work. So you know what, let's take a break here, Stuart, and I'll show you that product when we come back, and then we'll deconstruct this basket and see what's inside. Well, there was a person there, a gal who was selling some jewelry that she had handmade, and the name of her company is kinshipclay.com. And this is the card, made in Oklahoma. This is the card that they came on, and these are the earrings. And they are kind of a blue and white clay, the blue, and kind of almost look kind of denim-y to me. And they just immediately appealed to me. She had all sorts of other designs that I liked as well. So I want to give her a shout out because she was one of the vendors there. Kinshipclay.com, and we'll put that website in the description box afterwards. But then there were a number of things that I got from Boykin Farms to go in here as well. One of them being, and I'm not going to unwrap this, but you'll notice that this is all packaged in John's beloved blue and white. So the first thing in here is some delicious banana nut bread made from Boykin Farm. And this is one of those tiny little loaves that's just so wonderful. And then the other thing that I've put in here, which is, it is like crack cocaine. It is so good. I've showed you guys this before. This is her cowboy candy. And all you have to do is just pour this over some softened cream cheese and have some the dip size Fritos or crackers or something like that, and you are good to go. So before I give this to him, I'll put a package of cream cheese in here, but I also got him some cowboy candy, and of course I got Hubs and I some more. Then I went to Trader Joe's and I got him a bottle of Cabernet Sauvignon because I know that that is his wine of choice. I also know he loves blue in any kind of floral manifestation, and so I got him just a very fragrant blue hyacinth. And then this is a sweet little bouquet that I put together. Aren't these wonderful?
Really cool.
And they're kind of strange looking,
It's
but
my kind of bouquet.
Yeah, but fascinating looking. And these are the seed heads from the scabiosa, aka the pincushion flower. And then I put in some pansies here that are kind of drooping, but they'll dry in just kind of with just a little hint of purple. Yes, Stuart.
So they look like pincushions like this. I see the pincushion dot. I guess you can't see it when they're in other ways.
Right. And this
I
is,
hadn't noticed that before.
and so this is in different stages of drying, and I think they put together sweet little dried bouquets, little tussy mussies. So this is when they have lost all of their petals, and also all of these, probably this is the seed itself here. I don't know, can you see
it's
from that?
focused,
Yeah, the little hairs that are on there. And then when these dry, they'll just be little punctuations of purple. And by the time I give it to him, they will be dried and those little spots of purple or blue will appear. He I know he likes bananas and apples and things, but that didn't kind of match the aesthetic of my of my basket. So he's getting some blackberries. I know he loves dark chocolate covered things of almost any form. And what is this? I know he likes these in particular. These are the dark chocolate mints. Yeah, that they've got there. I will write him a little note of good wishes. And then I got him some chocolate chunk cookies and some dark chocolate dipped French butter cookies. These are divine. I've got that upside down. I don't know if you can read them. And then just something for him to just enjoy in his kitchen, because those of us who like blue and white, we can't have enough blue and white napkins or blue and white towels. So these, and I will put a link to these. These are some old-fashioned tea towels, but look, they've got a little hook on them so that they can hang on the hook in your kitchen, and I like that. And these come in sets of 3. I got some for myself and I got some for him.
It's like you could also, kitchen bar.
Yeah, and you could also use these obviously as napkins. So I've tucked those in and also lined my basket with it. And then this book I have read about a lot recently. This is an oldie but goodie. It is The House in Good Taste by Elsie de Wolfe, who was earlier in the 20th century. She was a tastemaker, a style maker, and she was maybe one of the first interior stylists of sorts. Oh, wow. So this is kind of a fun read. I thought John would appreciate it and give him something to do while he was flat on his back. So there you go. There is just a little basket of goodies, a care basket for John, for him to enjoy while he's down and out, but mostly for him to enjoy just because he's such a good friend and we appreciate him, don't we, Stuart?
Indeed.
Okay, it's been a while since I have talked about what I'm watching, what I am reading, and what I am, just thinking about in general. So number one, what I am watching, this is a strange thing, but I've kind of been into Greer Garson movies. They're on PBS, Masterpiece Theater. There's been some really old ones, but I find her absolutely fascinating. I became a fan of hers from the movie Mrs. Miniver, and I just find her breathtakingly beautiful. I like her acting, and so anyhow, I've been watching that. I've also been watching the new series called Friends and Neighbors. I don't know if I've mentioned that before, with John Hamm. Oh, it's interesting. Very interesting. It's on Apple TV, so you might enjoy that. I'm not doing a ton of reading because it's gardening season right now, and by the end of the day I am pretty tired, but here's a couple of books that I highly recommend, and I've been waiting for this one for a long time. I think Melissa Penfold is one of the most accomplished, one of my favorite stylists, tastemakers out there. She has a brilliant Instagram account that is not only absolutely breathtakingly beautiful, but I love her descriptions and her explanations behind the things that she posts. And this is her new book. I have her other one. I think it was called Living by Design. This one is Natural Living by Design. And boy, is this a beautiful tome. I mean, from the inside page covers to all of the different interiors. Like I say, it is just yummy. Just yummy, yummy, yummy. Images from around the world, and I will put a link, but definitely you guys want to check this out.
That's cool.
Yeah, she is such a talent and has such a flair for gracious, tasteful living that isn't always grand, but it can be grand, very much a European flair, a global flair, and I just love it. And I would love for you to experience this book as well. Another book that I haven't even really looked into, but I'm hoping to interview the authors, or at least one of the authors, and that's Parks of Oklahoma City. And you will be happy to know that Mesta Park is represented in here. And I will be looking at this. I love the fact that it gives a point of geography, of city geography in here. It talks about the history of parks and public spaces in the Oklahoma City area. And boy, if there's anybody that appreciates the value of beautiful natural spaces that attract people and bring the communities together, it would be me. So that's just a couple of books that I recommend. You guys might want to check them out as well. Well, I don't always show the things that you guys send me or bring me, partly because I'm afraid I'll forget someone and I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, and because there's just a lot of it that comes in. But this one was front of mind because I just got it yesterday, and it was just so unusual, and it touched my heart, and so I wanted to share it with you. And this is from Angie. And she said, I love entertaining like you, and I'm always searching for something new and different to present to my guests. So she sent me these gorgeous cowboy napkins that she said she had made. Let's see here. Yeah, made for you, dear Linda. How sweet. The tag is sweet. But these are beautiful. They're two-sided. You can tell that they were hand done because of the stitching. They're just really beautiful. But the reason they spoke to me, in addition to the fact that they're just charming and it's such a thoughtful gesture, you guys are also thoughtful. But look, it looked just like this that I got thrifting. And so then I started thinking about, how fun would it be for my new granddaughter, little Danny James, at some point in time to have a cowboy cowgirl birthday party. But look here, that cowboy looks just like this cowboy. It looks just like this cowboy. Now, yeah. Now, what is missing is a cowgirl. And so if you guys know, this is my question of the day. If you guys know of a source for any really fun cowgirl fabric, cowgirl patterns, cowgirl themes or whatever, I would love to know that, because it reminds me of, and particularly because Danny will be coming from Colorado, which is
so fun to
just so fun to toss that in there. Not that I'm excited or anything, but it I don't know. It reminds me of her. I can't wait. One of you sent me a direct message about that there is a charming place in Oklahoma City. I need to revisit it again. Was it in Oklahoma City or Denver that has little kid cowboy boots and little boots, oh my gosh, cowgirl boots. I'm already a little bit obsessed with it.
Get some little high C boots.
A little high C, yeah, some high C cowboys. But the other reason that I love this is because it reminds me of my sister Terry, the one that lives in North Carolina. She's one of my older sisters, and she was such a tomboy when she was young. Now she's just a brilliant gardener and homesteader and just person extraordinaire. But oh my goodness, did she love to play cowboys and Indians with my brother Joe growing up. But she was always a little jealous. I talked to her about this the other day. She was always a little bit jealous. She wanted to be a boy because she kind of intuited at that young age that boys got a little more attention in some ways than girls. And she was a tomboy girl. And she was very jealous of my brother Joe's Roy Roger plaid cowboy shirt that he had, because she loved Roy Rogers and Dale Evans, but she really would have rather been Roy Rogers than Dale Evans. And she was always jealous of his checkered shirt, or at least that's how I remember it. So that's my other question of the day. How many of you are old enough to remember Roy Rogers and Dale Evans? Anyhow, brings back fond memories. A trip. I'm all about a trip down nostalgia and back in time this weekend. So hope you enjoyed this little trip in time with me and these absolutely adorable cowboy napkins. Okay, well, I'm often asked what my favorite garden tool is, and my favorite garden tool isn't really a tool. It's just a pair of scissors, about, just household scissors, cheap because I often leave them out and I forget them. But probably every other day I come out with a pair of scissors and I just walk around and I do deadheading and I do just different kinds of things, for which I find scissors to be the best tool to use. So here's an example. And I do this in the front yard and back, but you guys might recall that I did a little potatem in here in this little bunny around Easter time, and it's starting to thicken up, and I'm going to encourage that thickening up by just giving it a little haircut. And this makes it come back and grow back more densely, more tightly, a nice little mound. And it is just pleasant work because can you smell the...
No, I can.
Yeah, this is lemon thyme. And this also keeps it from getting leggy. And with all the rain we've had, man, this is going to come back in short order.
We could all use a little time.
Yeah, we could all use a little time. Okay, then I'm going to grab my basket so that you guys won't have to say, Linda, you need to have a basket when you do your deadheading. So I have my basket here, and one thing about gardening after the rain is so much stuff just looks kind of bedraggled and soggy, and a lot of things need to be deadheaded. You can see here that this has just been really rained on, and so I'm going to give these wave petunias just a big haircut. I have to get out my blower too. And this will not only keep them from being leggy, and pretty soon it might get too hot for these, but it also is serving, typically these don't really need to be deadheaded, but after a rain they look so yucky that I'm going to do that anyway. And as they dry out, and I'll give them another feed, but these scissors come in handy because I like, as you guys know, said it over and over again, I just kind of like a tightly clipped garden. And I was telling my daughter-in-law, Taylor, when I talked to her this morning and she was showing me her first topiary, I said, oh my goodness, you need to get my son on that bandwagon because he really likes things to be very tidy and very, very precise as well. Okay, here is something else I'm going to be clipping. And that is, you guys might recall that I planted some black-seeded Simpson lettuce in here. And now it's going to start getting too hot for it pretty soon, and I want to plant some other things in here anyway. So I'm not going to pull it, I'm just going to clip it. And I will have enough for a small salad at lunch. Isn't that pretty?
Yes, it is.
Pretty, pretty, pretty. Okay. Put some of this too. And when I come back, I'm going to take this inside, wash it off a little bit before it gets droopy, and when I come back, I'll show you some more quick clips. Well, now that all of my East Friesland salvia has done its thing, it is ready to be deadheaded, and I promise you, after I deadhead it with my snips, it will come back and it will rebloom again and be absolutely beautiful. Now, one thing that's kind of fun about deadheading your salvia is I think the dried blooms are beautiful. And I often put these just in a basket to bring inside. I even like the scent. It reminds me, the look, it's a little bit reminiscent, I guess, of lavender, but I like the way it looks, especially when you clip some that still have a hint of purple on them. So that's another thing that I am doing with my scissors. And while I am down here, I am seeing there's some kind of bug-chewing insects on here. I'm going to guess that maybe they are already things like grasshoppers, maybe some of those little black beetles that I sometimes get, but I'll keep an eye on them. If it doesn't get any worse than this, I'll just leave it alone. And I try when I do this, because inside here it's kind of hard for me to get my little bench, and I don't want to bend over too long and compromise my back. And yes, I did stretch this morning.
Did you row?
Did I work? Not yet. I'm doing that this afternoon at
Just
2.
checking.
This afternoon at 2. I'm equally as passionate about it as I was at the very beginning. But I will do one clump at a time. I don't do all of the clumps because that might be a little bit of a hardship on my back. But that's something else that I do with my clips. So I'll finish up this one later. And then the other thing that I have noticed I've really had to deadhead a lot, and that is a lot of this scabiosa. So it, especially after the rain, it starts looking like this. So I hold it taut and I try to get as low as I can on the stem. There's a couple, and you can see them, and you have to be kind of careful that you don't get the ones that
you follow the wrong stem
down.
that
you follow the stem down. That has happened before. But here's how I get those sweet little baubles, those sweet little pin cushions that were in that tiny little bouquet. And I imagine that the next time the kiddos come over, we'll probably do some little bouquets of these pin cushion flowers. And that is when they begin to look like this. Okay, so this is like the second phase, I'm going to say, of the final phase, which I showed you when they're perfectly round and they look like a little pin cushion. So after they begin to lose their leaves, or their flower petals rather, you can see this is what they look like. This is a little one. And then they look like this, which is also sweet to have in the garden. Okay, look there. See, Stuart, can you see that tiny, tiny little grasshopper right there?
Oh, almost blocked by something. Oh yeah, I can see it now.
Can you see it? It may be small now, but it's going to grow up to be big. And with all the rain, I bet we have a whole lot of them. Can you see it right there?
You can see it. It's not perfectly in focus, but yeah, you can definitely see it.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
Well, it just hopped. Yeah, it just hopped away. Just hopped away. I bet that's what is chewing on my salvia leaves. So see, that's what they look like. And I think they're just so dear.
Eyelashes or whatever.
So dear. Yeah, and then the thing is I become a little bit obsessed with them. Yeah, eyelashes, that's a good description. But I become so obsessed with them, then I don't want to throw any of them away. Then I've got to make little bouquets. The other thing that I'll be deadheading is any of the catmint, because after all of the rain and the sun coming out, it'll start looking a little bit dry and tattered, as will, and this kind of saddens me, and this is going to take more than just a simple pair of scissors, but boy, these It's a Breeze ivory roses, they have bloomed their heads off, and they continue to bloom their heads off, but you can see that some of the flowers are starting to be spent, and I'm going to have to do some deadheading on this, but this will require some, some long rose gloves that will protect my forearms. It will require some pruners that can handle thicker stems, and it will also require probably a little spray bottle of alcohol so that when I clip the stems off, I won't spread any kind of potential disease from one snip to the other. But right now, boy, do we have some happy, I mean, they almost look drunk. They're just gorging. They're just gorging on all of this stuff.
And the yellow one, the fresh ones, is so cool.
I love the yellow one. And you know, every year I guess is a little bit different. Maybe it has to do with the weather, because I don't remember the yellow in these being so pronounced as they are. And the other thing is at the end of the season, there's not a lot of them now, but at the end of the season, because these continue to continue to bloom. They continue to bloom, not in blue, but towards the end of the year, they get this pink blush. The end of the season, they get this pink blush. It's just beautiful. It's not really pronounced now, but at the end of the summer, it becomes that much more pronounced. And then I have to show you something really exciting. Look at these blueberries.
They're there.
Aren't they just beautiful? And I've got one that's too crowded over in there. I'm going to have to replant it. But I know now that what I have to do to get them to berry this heavily is that I have to cut back the little lavender butterfly candy hard in front of them. They will come back quickly, and as soon as the heat begins to arrive, they will really fill out for later in the summer.
I remember last year they didn't berry a whole lot.
They did, yeah, they didn't berry very
first year,
well.
right? Yeah.
And I think it's because I didn't cut these back hard enough, so these didn't get enough light. So they like the protection once it gets really hot, but this time of year, they really want as much light as I can give them, because look at how beautiful those berries are.
That's as pretty as the stuff SLPC has on their website, pictures of it.
Yeah, I just think they're absolutely, this one I believe takes the cake, one of their homegrown collection, and I just think they're absolutely beautiful. Okay, when we come back, I've got one more tip that I want to share with you. It's something that I neglected to tell you yesterday, but I'll make up for that today. Okay, you guys are so good about sharing additional information with me, and I neglected to tell you, I remembered it after that I had forgotten to mention it to you while I was doing this illustration on training a rose up a wall, and that is the importance of trying to break something called apical dominance, by encouraging the branches to grow laterally or horizontally. Because when you do that, most things that grow, they grow vertically, and they have something called apical dominance. In other words, they want to keep growing tall and bloom at the top. Well, we're trying, by encouraging them to grow laterally or horizontally, to break that apical dominance and fool them into thinking that apical dominance is coming from really every node here on the lateral stem. So to the extent that you can get your rose to cross vertically or laterally like that, it will then encourage blooms coming up from these stems, and you will get and that leaf node, and you will get a lot more bloom. And I cannot remember who said, Linda, you forgot to mention that, but I did. And that's another reason that we kind of go back and forth like this, because we want it to not only grow tall, we want it to grow laterally to get heavier, more dense bloom. Well, thank you guys for hanging out with me today. I've still got my scissors. I am going to clip some more thyme out here in the back, out of my herb box. And I'm just going to continue to enjoy this really uncharacteristically beautiful weekend. Thank you for hanging out with me. Enjoy Taylor's tutorial on topiary, and I will see you on Wednesday.